products, but yeah.
Yeah, no, they sell like animal products, like you can get like Kirkland chicken and stuff like that, but they sell actual clothes. They sell
Yeah,
like
they sell water, they sell everything Kirkland's like their off-brand stuff.
yeah, nah, Kirkland is where it's at too. I got some Kirkland t-shirt. That's what I want for Christmas, some Kirkland white t-shirts. But yeah, how's everybody doing?
Doing all right, man. Trying to, trying to
So
stay active.
I
Doing
know,
good.
sorry, go ahead, Renee.
Oh, doing good. Yeah, crazy day. Good.
Yeah, that's all right. It's good to see everybody, man. I know you guys are gonna be, that next couple of weeks will be, just intense because it's not easy to do this, even for us. Like it ain't easy. Like, I know John just got home from work. I just finished the day at work. So like to like be able to like, log in, find the time and really dig deep to show up and, um, just it definitely requires a lot of resilience. So shout out to all you
Mhm.
guys. Real quick, just for housekeeping before we get started, I know I made an announcement last night and with action items that I'm expecting everybody to have done. If it's not already done, please get it done by the end of the night. Because you don't want these things to continue to pile up as we progress. I'll just read from the list. Um, so week two action items. The first thing was to share your resume with me to review it via Google Doc, um, as well as your cover letter, and just make sure when you share it that you enable editing permission so that I can go in there and start editing things. I know a few of you have sent me your resume. I started making some changes and I'll continue to. But if you don't share it with me via Google Doc and enable editing permissions, I won't be able to make any suggestions, on behalf. And then I also asked all of you to connect with leadership. So myself and John, as well as amongst each other. You guys should have already, if you didn't have a profile, create the profile. And if you had a profile, optimize your profile by leveraging the course. You should have all connected with us individually. So I hope everybody has. I don't know if everybody has. And then also connected with each other. So that's something you guys should have done. If you haven't done it already, do it before the end of tonight. And then again, just understand the difference between following someone and connecting. Those are different things. So make sure you hit those three dots in the ellipsis and hit connect, not just follow, connect. You want your connections to grow, and you should be getting 100 connections a week minimum, because actually a week maximum, because LinkedIn caps you at 100 connections a week. It's a new, a new thing within the platform. They don't want, people spamming people. So I guess they limit to 100 connections a week. So just kind of, pace yourself. So make sure you get like 100 a week so you can grow over the next 4 weeks or 3 weeks now. So you want to make sure you're doing that. And then also, I provided the top 10 skills that I've identified from like a SOC analyst role or a threat hunting role. I recommend adding these skills to your profile, right, in this order. So you can have more skills than just these 10 or 11 I put, but you should have those skills at the top of the list. So these skills should be at the top of your list on your profile so that you can identify what's some of the more common skills and the job descriptions, right? So these were just some of the ones that I've identified that are important, but you can have more than this, but these should be the ones at the top of your profile, okay? And then I've also asked you guys to endorse each other on LinkedIn. So I know some of you guys may have seen, I was up last night endorsing you on your profile. So I went to each one of your profiles, or most of you, and I endorsed you for your skill sets. And I noticed a lot of you don't have the right skill sets in your profile. So I still endorse those skills, but I want these skills specifically at the top in this order. And then you can add more underneath that, but you're typically going to see those top 10 first. So make sure all of you guys, right? Let me see, Renee, Dom, Bella, Sean, Manny, Charisma. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, Justine, 5, 6, 7. There should be 7 people on every one of your profile, excluding me and John, which we'll do. You guys should have 7 endorsements for each skill, all of you, just from in the program. That's very important. That's very important. So don't not do that. And I'll know because I'm going to your profiles and I'm seeing it. So make sure you add those skills and then make sure you guys all go and endorse each other. That should be all done tonight. And then remove, I noticed this aspiring word. I think it's great to use, but when you're on your profile on LinkedIn and on your resume, we're going to remove that altogether. We're going to remove aspiring and we're just going to put security analysts because you guys aren't aspiring anymore. You guys are. So we're going to remove aspiring and we're just going to put security analyst. That's appropriate. So you can also.
Oh, question. You said the skills, where we're putting exactly in there. I just want to go back. Is it on the very top portion?
On your profile,
Yeah.
profile, you're going to go to your profile.
Yep, on profile.
And you're going to look at my screen right now because I'm going to share. So on your profile, if you go to the bottom, it says skills. As you can see, I have incident management, executive management, and 55 other skills. Enterprise technology sales, right? Cross-functional leadership. These are the skills that I have in my profile.
All right, I got you.
You're going to go here and you hit the plus sign, and then you're going to add whatever skills I had shared in that post, right? You're going to add, hit security, then you're going to hit save, right? And then you can get more detailed where you use the skill, but just add those skills. Once those skills are added, you're going to hit this pencil. See that pencil I just hit? You're going to hit the pencil. Okay. And then it's going to take you here. And then what you'll do is you'll hit the ellipsis. See those 3 dots? You hit the ellipsis and you'll hit reorder. And then from here, you'll drag these boxes. See that? And you can organize where you want them to fall in your skills. So I want you guys to have, right? I want you guys to have them in the order that I suggested. And then you can have more than that, but I want them in that particular order for a reason. Okay. So that's how you adjust the skills. And then what you're going to do is you guys are going to come to my profile and you're going to endorse me and you're going to endorse one another. Okay. You're going to endorse one another because that's going to be more credibility when somebody comes to your page. Like I'm going to Isabella's, right? And I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see her, look at this, endorse, right? 3 colleagues endorsed her. Endorse, 2 colleagues endorsed her. I see Kizzy did her homework. Endorse, endorse, endorse. She's gonna put these in a different order anyway, because she has some to add. I can see she didn't add all the ones. I did add them late, so I'm not gonna say it's her fault. But again, I'll just endorse her anyway, because why not? So that's what you guys are gonna do once you add. I see you have Sim there, so you can just move that up. You guys are gonna come in here and everyone should be endorsing everyone in this program. Management included, leadership included, but I definitely want you guys to, because we appreciate the endorsements as well. So you're going to come in here and you're going to do that. Okay. Is that simple enough? Any questions?
Simple. I got you.
Right, cool.
And then in the heading, actual.
I'm gonna go to that right now, Dom. Thanks for reminding me. So, because that's important. So we're going to remove that word aspiring because you guys aren't students. You guys, we're always life students, first and foremost, right? We're life students. So of course, we're always going to learn, but we're marketing ourselves for the role that we want. Okay. Not the role that we're currently in. And so I'm going to just continue doing this, but again, we're going to remove the word aspiring and we're just going to call a spade a spade. So we're all here to be security analysts. And so that's how we're going to reference each other on our profiles, on our resume. We're not going to use the word aspiring anymore. We're just going to say security analyst because that's what you guys are doing now. You guys are all security analysts and you guys are doing security analyst work. So we're not even going to say aspiring. Like when you're a student, you're aspiring, right? You're aspiring when you're a kid. But now you guys are security analysts. So we're just going to say that. All right. Any questions on that? Any questions? Isabella, you got like 100 skills on here.
I did my homework.
Anyway, that's right. Organize them the way they need to be organized. So now, headline. All right, I said removing aspiring because you guys are not aspiring. So security analyst is fine. So notice here, you have, this is around because obviously my profile is a little bit different than yours, but just understand the context. I have founder at CyberSecurity. So you guys may have security analyst. And then I have a pipe symbol, which is that straight symbol up and down above the enter or return sign on your keyboard. And then I have international cybersecurity practitioner and keynote speaker. Okay, right there, pipe symbol. So that could be security analyst. And then you can also put other roles and other disciplines that you're proficient in. So for example, security analyst, pipe symbol, threat research analyst, pipe symbol, security diversity in tech advocate, right? As you can see, I have practitioner, enterprise security operations, detection engineering, technology visionary disruptor, and advocate. So that's my headline. And you can choose to get creative with it. You don't want to do too much, but you can choose to get creative. So I'll look at Isabella's. She has cybersecurity professional. Make this one word, Isabella, and shrink the S. So it's just cybersecurity analyst. I would say, you could use professional if you want. That's fine, but I would just make cybersecurity one word. It's a pet peeve of mine. So make it one word and then just lowercase the S. You have cyber threat intelligence analyst, great. SOC analyst, great. Women in cyberspace advocate, great. Thought leader, great. See that? So she kind of just piped it and separated it with different disciplines. And I think that's great. Okay. Any questions on that? This looks pretty good. She has her resume featured. Excellent. She ain't posting about nothing, but she's doing a great job. So that's essentially what I've asked you guys to do. Any questions on that? Okay. So you guys are going to endorse each other. You're going to remove that. Customize your URL. All right, Dom, I noticed you didn't do this. So if you can look at your profile here, right? Your profile, you did do it now. Great. So he customizes URL. Before it was Dom Roland like this. That's what his profile looked like. So to do this is fairly simple. All you got to do, you go to view profile. You go to public profile and URL and you hit that. You can see mine is right here. But before I had it like that, it was a bunch of character strings after. So you want to come here and you want to make this pretty. And then you go to edit custom URL, hit that. And you want to take away the, all that, because that's going to be ugly when you want to like paste your link. So on your resume, I'm going to just go to this one, Dom, just because I had yours open earlier. Jeez Louise. Okay. So for example, see this right here, Dom? All that needs to be gone, right? So that I want all that gone. And also lowercase, you can lowercase this too, because you're taking up space. I want it all on one line. So just like this. So, you want to, I don't know why. Did you use a specific font for this? So yeah, I'm going to do this. See this? So it's going to be linkedin.com/in/name. And that's what it should look like, y'all. Okay. You guys see that? I'm a stickler when it comes to, so I know this stuff doesn't seem important, guys, but it is.
If you didn't pick up, Will has OCD a little bit.
Yes, I do. Thank you for pointing that out, John. But yes, I do have OCD.
What was that, Bill?
He gets it from his mom.
So yeah, that's any questions on that? Can I get rid of this space? And no. Okay.
Hey, I just put on the chat there something a coworker showed me, and I think Will touched on it last time. If you have a picture, so AI, you can give it a picture, and with what you give it, it can try to turn it into a professional looking picture. So like you don't have to pay, like, I think that, you know, it can go, you know, from $150 to like, you know, $250 just for headshots. But with AI, like if you click on it, one of the pictures, like this girl, she's playing a sport, and then AI will transform that into like a whole professional looking picture. So I think it's free too. So yeah,
most of them were charging.
That's a good point, John. I'll tell you this, my headshot right here, this is AI. But it's a great one. Like I like, all right, so I purchased that for like $40, right? And what I did was I took like 6 selfies, and then I paid $40. But where else are you getting a professional headshot for $40? I mean, you'd never know that was an AI image, right? Especially people who don't know you. So, and I think it's great. Like the ambiance, you know, the smile. I mean, that's a handsome guy. I mean, like, you know, regardless. So, you know, but point I'm making is that this was $40. So highly recommend program that I used. Because there's one, you could try the one. Is this Canva? Did Canva do this, John?
Yeah, it's Canva.
So you can check that one out. I recommend doing that. 1 second. Okay, yeah. I recommend.
I haven't tried it. I haven't tried it, but
I've never tried it. There's another one that I recommend for sure, the one I used. And it's called Portrait Pal. And this one was like $40. So I recommend using it because for $40, you're getting a, you know, decent headshot. So like here, I'll show you mine. So some of these were just far off. Like some of them were just way off. But like, for example, I don't, this looks like 45-year-old William Sr. You know what I mean? Like this doesn't look like me, but like that one does. This one did. You know, we got some in here. Like some of these actually look better than me. I was like, hey, I like that guy. You know, like this guy right here, this is like 48-year-old executive. You know what I mean? But like, you know, some of these looked pretty good. So I thought for what it was worth, right? It was a good investment. And it takes a selfie, and then so this was the one that won it for me. You know, I thought that one was pretty good too. So the point I'm making is, just for $40, you can't go wrong. It's worth the investment. Trust me, it is worth the investment. Dom, I see what you did, Dom. I see what you did, Dom. Looks better, but I want it to look great. All right.
Got a great better than that. I thought got the background all blacked out, black and white.
You want my honest opinion, or you want me to tell you what you want to hear, or do you want me to tell you what you need to hear? It's two different things.
Well, all right, with honestly, what you needed just needed to be more.
I need a little more. It's not good. It's good, but I want it to be great, right? I want it to be great. There's no sense in doing all this stuff and then like penny wise, dollar foolish. If you spend the $40 and you don't like it, I'll reimburse you. Deal?
Okay. Well, you want to use Canva, you said?
Try Canva. If it's free, try Canva, right?
Okay.
Right? Try Canva. If it's free, I've never used that one, but I did use Portrait Pal. Antoine told me about it. I used Portrait Pal. There's another one called Facetune. I think it's called Facetune app, but I recommend Portrait Pal as one I liked it. So I just recommend portraitpal.ai. I'll drop it in the chat. It is worth the investment, guys. Please, please, please do it. It takes about, I don't know, 24 hours or something like that. Or no, 2 hours. Portraitpal.ai. So check it out when you have a chance. If I spelled that wrong, I'm sorry. Portrait. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I spelled it wrong. Sorry. Okay. So it's worth it. Any other questions on this while we're on the topic of discussion? It's really, really important. Guys, this week, post every day. Every day, every day. I appreciate the engagement, everyone. I really do appreciate the engagement on the post in the community. I want to continue to see that. I want to post every day from you guys. That's another thing. I want to post every day from you guys in the community and especially on LinkedIn, like regurgitating what we go over. Because right now we're going to get ready, you guys. If you haven't already, start spinning up the machines. We're going to go over some of the things we went over last week with CrowdStrike. So I want you guys to get in the habit of after a session, right? Either that night taking notes on a post you're going to make for the morning, or that same night, get in the habit of just doing that. And then all week long, continue to like share with your audience and educate. Do not go week by week with no posting or missing days posting. It is that important. That's another action item. So make sure you're doing, like, if there's something we went over that you really enjoyed, hey, we analyzed this process tree. I really enjoyed, analyzing this hash, utilizing open source intel to reassure our analysis, and be able to write a report on this particular threat actor. Like, I want you guys to talk about that and redistribute the content on your platform. All right. It's only going to get more eyes because this is the week now. Once our profiles are complete, right? From headshot, headline, introductory summary, all the experience should be articulated on your resume. This is the week now when we can start reaching out to folks. This is the week now we can really start to echo the message on who we are. And now that we've reinvented ourselves. And what I'll do is after I get the formatting on your resume, I'll be reviewing that this week. Everyone should be getting that to me. What I'll do is I'll make sure that I provide the bullets for this experience. So underneath, Dom, the experience that you put on your resume, you should not just be putting your project work, but you should be putting the role that you're in now, right? Because the role that you're in now is a really good role to also articulate what you're doing. Because a lot of times, guys, like, it's okay to have an experience on your resume that doesn't necessarily correlate if you're articulating your value, success, and accomplishments in that role appropriately. Because companies want to hire professionals regardless of what discipline you're in, right? Companies want to hire professionals. They want to hire people who have leadership skills, communication skills, who can manage a team, who can work cross-functionally. Because that's a universal set of qualities and trait and skills. So you want to make sure that you're articulating what the role that you're currently doing, Renee, the role that you're currently doing, Dom, right? That's important. So, but I'll take care of the experience from the CyberSecurity section, and everything else will follow suit. I'll provide those bullet points this week to you guys. Any other questions? We're jumping into it. Cool. So you guys should start spinning up the machines. We'll get right into it.
We probably won't go into it, but Sockbite for me is not loading.
Okay.
I don't know,
Can you do me a
doing
favor?
some maintenance.
Wherever the hiccup is, John, can you just screenshot or the error, send it to Solomon? Because I was talking to him about it earlier, but for me, I'm not having any issues. I don't know if anyone else is, but at least he'll be able to address it because they'll be coming on shift here shortly, probably the next couple hours. So if you just send a screenshot or a summary, whatever the issue is, he'll fix it by the morning or by in the next couple hours.
Perfect. I'm getting the same thing you're getting, but yeah,
Sure.
perfect. Like basically that's it.
Okay. Interesting. Is everything else loading?
Yeah, everything else is great. Everything else is loading fine for me.
Okay.
Take a screenshot real quick.
Guys, and make sure you only click these widgets once. If you double, triple click, it'll automatically enter your credentials like 2 or 3 times. You'll get locked out. So I know that happened last week or the week before. Let's try to not have that happen. Just try to click it once and you'll see when you click, if the widget slightly moves, if it slightly moves and responds, like I just clicked, nothing happened, I'm going to move it. Just click, nothing happened, I'm going to move it. Nothing. There it goes. So once you see it react and respond, that's it. Don't click it again because then it'll double submit your credentials. And I'm about to get locked out because I'm not putting in my MFA.
I had to whip out my blue light glasses because staring at screens all day.
Wow, what happened?
I said I had to whip out my blue light glasses, staring at the
Mm,
screen all day. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Just
I got a pair of them, but sometimes I just feel like even those on my head give me a headache.
mm.
Maybe
These are pretty good. These are like
I got some cheap ones.
gamerish.
That's why I got some
Yeah.
cheapies. Everybody good? Everybody, how's everybody doing? Is everybody logged in? Give me a just come off mute. Let me know how we rocking.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody good? Thumbs up.
Yep. Yep. I'm logged into QRadar and Falcon.
Sockbite. Anybody else in Sockbite?
uh, I'm in CrowdStrike, but QRadar is not letting me in.
Okay. Did you click more than once?
No, so it's just a login piece. I'm just this post has
Well,
too many.
Close it out and then try to relaunch it again. Like if you ever have that issue, just close it out and try to relaunch again. Try to make sure you're only clicking on it once. I'm over here and sending message to the team. This isn't loading.
That this host has temporarily been blocked due to too many attempts.
Yep. Yeah. So give it about give that. You're probably gonna have to give it. I think it's like the threshold is like 9 minutes or something. So if you're clicking, that's what I was just saying. If you're clicking and you don't, you accidentally click more than one time, it'll automatically input your because it's a single sign on. Like it's gonna automatically submit your credential. If you click more than once, you don't realize it. Like it sometimes will like double the input, which will obviously fail authenticate. And then it'll lock you out within like a certain amount of time. So just give that a couple minutes. Are you as long as you're in CrowdStrike, you should be good.
Yeah, I'm in CrowdStrike. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's all we need right now. Because we're gonna do a review and then we'll eventually pivot into
QRadar.
yeah. I'm into QRadar. Yeah, Sockbite's not loading for me, so nothing we won't
It's okay because we're not doing like escalations and stuff for today.
yeah.
Just going over.
All right. So cool. So I guess without I mean, John, do you have anything right out the gate you wanted to mention or I know recap?
We can touch on. I wanted to just reiterate
I'll let you
on
share.
threat reports and stuff like that, keeping up with the news, but we can touch on that later. Why isn't my MFA not going through? Try again.
While he's loading and gonna I just gave the screen sharing permissions, so you should be good to go once you're ready to. While you're doing that, I'm gonna go because I wanted to make another comment. So I gave Isabella some feedback, I gave Dom some feedback. Sean, what's going on with your profile? Why are you making this face?
Which
I'll
one?
take
Which one?
I'm lying. I'm not gonna take it easy on you. Your LinkedIn. What's going on with your LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Your LinkedIn's looking like a bot right now. What's happening?
Yeah. It's in the works. It's in the works. I
It's in
promise.
the works. Get it done. What are you waiting for? It's in the
Mhm.
works. It's been in the works for 3 years. Let's get it done. So I see SOC analyst Sec Plus. Get Sec Plus out of your headline. It makes you look like an amateur. Whenever people post the Sec Plus in their headline, it automatically sends a signal to whoever you're speaking to that you're a newbie and you don't have experience. Because anybody that has experience is not putting Sec Plus in their headline. So just remove that from your headline altogether. It's great that you have it, but nobody's impressed with it enough to like have that in your headline. You don't have a background image, so get a background image there. Again, try to use something that's not boilerplate. Your image is not terrible. It's actually decent for, I mean, you're a good looking guy, so it's good. But I think, yeah, if you want to give it a little sprucing up, you can. It's not bad. But again, I want it to be great. All right. You have 8 connections. You got a lot of work to do on your LinkedIn, buddy. Okay. Your introductory summary, cybersecurity enthusiast. Let's just change that to cybersecurity professional or analyst. And we can probably beef that up a little bit. Refer to my profile. So look at my profile for, you know, as the guardrails, please. So you can kind of see a little bit on kind of like how I've, you know, introduced myself. You could also look at John's profile, just get a little bit of some motivation from them. You got me? All right. This is really important, guys. You don't like it's the time to do it is now.
Gotcha.
Like by the end of tonight,
Are you able to see my screen?
Ready to go. Let me see. Yeah, you see your screen.
Perfect. All right. And
Justine.
go ahead, Will.
No, sorry. Justine's ducking me. So I got to make sure. Can't duck me, Justine. Okay. Same thing goes for you. Entry-level security analyst, we're removing that, where you can just have security analyst, Justine. CompTIA Network Plus certified, that stuff, seeking opportunities, we can remove that too, because your open to work badge is enough to show that you're seeking opportunities. And then from my personal experience, my opinion, I don't even like having a open to work banner on my profile. I still have open to work on my profile, but it's only showing to recruiters and hiring managers. So I just feel like when it's like open to work, it's giving like, you know, like desperate almost. It's almost like holding up a sign like hire me. And companies don't want the bottom of the barrel. They want the elite. So I don't want to promote the, you know, I'm open to work. It's like, you know, hey, here I am. Have me get a job. I'd rather just have the recruiters know I'm open to work and let the rest of the world know nothing. Okay. So my personal opinion on that, you can take it or leave it. But as far as everything else, leave it. Everything else I said, I would just, that's my recommendation. When you lead an introductory summary with I'm a dedicated proactive, like we want to be really specific with the vernacular and verbiage that we're using, because companies want results driven security professional with X amount of experience. Like we want to make sure we go right to the jugular with what it is, with who we are and what we've done, right? And start naming the tools and the disciplines and the processes and the frameworks and the best practices right away. So your introductory summary of your bio needs some work there. The experience section, right? We got to get CyberXCs added. And once those are added, great. Same thing with the skills. I'm not seeing the skills. We definitely appreciate that you're an active listener, but that's not the top skill, right? So I know I added that stuff late. And again, if you have questions, John can help you. I'll pause there and we can get back to that if anyone has questions at the end. I just want to make sure each one of you hear my feedback so you guys know what you have to do before the night's out. All right, Jordan, the floor is yours.
Cool, yeah. Perfect. Yeah. First, before I go, again, we should all, you guys should have your thumb on the news in the cybersecurity space, especially because these are things that, like, I can guarantee you, like, we're talking about on a day-to-day at my job and all the Fortune 500 companies. You should know if somebody talks to you about, hey, have you heard about how China basically has infiltrated all the telco companies and, you know, all your messages and all your phone conversations, the Chinese are be able to listen. You should be able to speak to that and just make conversation, right? Even with your connections that hopefully through, you know, sprucing up your LinkedIn and you connect with people in the industry through your network, what are you going to talk to them about? You start off with something you have in common, right? Cybersecurity, and then you go off into different things like, hey, what's going on at your company, things like that. But again, I plugged this blog, which I follow all the time just because I love the content that they put in there, and this guy's pretty smart. So he's always posting different things. But yeah, you guys should be keeping up with this. And then what do you post on LinkedIn? Copy and paste this article. Put 2 sentences of what you think about it. Oh, snap. You know, I got to move now to Signal because now you need end-to-end encryption. So things like that, that's easy ways to just have content where you don't have to like write a whole essay. You don't have to overthink. Just share an article. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna second
So
that.
real quick, we're gonna do a quick review, and then I wanted to see if we can go into QRadar because we didn't get a chance to touch on it last time. So this page should look real familiar to you all now. We have our detection score, how many detections we have here. We have a crowdsource, which I don't know if we went through it, but I think this is more or less. I don't even know if we even use it like that, to be honest with you. We have the detections here in the bottom, and then there's two ways you can pivot to them. Either you can go on the left side to the menu and go to endpoint security, endpoint detections to get the list of detections, or you can just click on the number and it takes you to the list of detections. I'm going quickly because we went over this, but if you have questions, let me know, right? I think last time when we had wrapped up, the connection was still there. So if you went ahead and clicked around and you had some questions, feel free to ask.
I think just a comment. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Your crowd score, at least from how I understand it, is like your overall security posture, essentially. So like if you have like a critical alarm or something that's triggered in the environment, that's typically where like something can potentially show there. So just wanted to comment on that.
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense. Thank you, Will. So like now here we see the whole quote unquote queue in CrowdStrike of detections. We see a severity score based on the alert. We see a detection time, tactic, and technique. Does anybody remember what framework this was from?
MITRE.
MITRE. Yeah, MITRE. That's right. So very like literally tremendous. Like we use this every single day at work, and something you should become real familiar with. All right. So if we wanted to go to detection, we can either click on it, or I like to personally just go to the ellipsis and just view detection details view. And then I'll have my little table where I can see the information about the alert, a process table, the process tree. This is pretty slow. It might just be me. The process table, the process tree. We didn't touch on it, but we did speak to how CrowdStrike operates through on endpoints, which are workstations, which is like a laptop or a server. Think of like something that's storing data potentially. You know, things that are endpoint that are accessible by users and programmatic systems. This is a little slow. Sorry. We talked about how we can understand this alert, right? Two ways. This file, yxn6tfp.exe, which exe stands for executable. On desktop, this is actually a different desktop, if I remember from last time. But desktop NU8CF C5C6 by, and then this user ThinkPad T480S. And I remember last time we talked about, hey, is this an actual user? And I had to like break down that users don't necessarily have to be actual user beings, right? So a computer doesn't care if it's Jonathan or if it's ThinkPad. So it can be, it's all, ones and zeros. It's all just a unique identifier for the computer. So in this case, SVC host launched from an unusual location. If this is expected, investigate the parent process, and the file gives us a quick description. And I'm collecting all this information because I need to summarize what I'm seeing at the beginning, right? And I like to think of it like a detective. They're collecting all the clues at all times, especially timestamps, because if any, hopefully you won't be in that situation, but if something ever becomes in legal hold, it's basically when an organization has to bring an investigation to potentially to a court because you need to take action against, whether it's an entity outside who targeted your organization or a employee who did something. You need timestamps. You need all this information. Okay, we spoke about severity, tactic and technique here, and start and end time, and all of that stuff. I think we're more just showing where we go to see these things. We see the hash of the file in question of yxn6tfp.exe. And if we wanted to look up this file, we can use open source tools like VirusTotal. Let's see, virus. Did anybody actually make an account with the Joe Sandbox?
Oh, you reminded me. I forgot to add that action item, but I definitely mentioned it last week. So add that to the list if you haven't. Did anybody do that? Did anybody create a VirusTotal account? Excuse me, account or a Joe Sandbox account or a Talos account? Anybody? Nobody did it? Damn, Dom.
That's right.
Come on, man. Let's get it. You guys got to do that. Add that to the
There's
list.
no time like the present. So in here, we can look up IOCs, which stand for indicators of compromise, or rarely there's different names for these, but you can call it an artifact. You can call it a entity, and then an IOC, indicator of compromise. But all it means is basically breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs of how you can do your investigations and what people left behind. So this hash right here, which is a unique fingerprint of that file, right? Not to break it down, but basically to get to a hash, everybody knows that computers just works in ones and zeros. They run it through a mathematical algorithm, and they come out with a hash, right? A unique identifier for that specific file. If they change one letter in that file or one little thing in that file, it changes the entire hash completely. So now we see that hash specifically, because we know it's exactly that file, is considered not malicious by the community. And it stands for this svc host.exe, which is exactly what this detection was speaking about. So they launched this executable, this file, from a weird location. And that's important because when you're an analyst, what you're looking for is the unusual, the weirdness, because that's what's going to stand out, and that's what you need to investigate. And the way you do that is by understanding, okay, SVC host, I don't know what that is. And even if I, wanted to explain it, I don't think I could. So what I'm going to do, assume the role of I'm just bringing out Gemini AI because why not, right? Analyst, a security analyst working at a top 500 company. Let's see. Explain what SVC host is in simple terms. Give examples of the file paths that are expected. So now I just basically, I'm breaking it down so that it's explaining to me what it is. And then it's also going to give me where it's supposed to come from in the first place, right? Because I'm thinking like a security analyst. I'm looking for the anomaly. This is saying this is weird. Okay, well, give me the normal. And now AIS is going to come and do this for us. Hey, This is a, oh, now it got a little too creative. Apartment building. A kind of apartment building with various services, Windows systems, connections, and handling updates. It's basically a, it's used all over the place by Windows systems. It's used to run your processes, and then it starts to break it down by things we recognize, like Task Manager, for example. I bet you if you open up Task Manager right now, you'll see SVC host in there if you're on Windows. That being said, it also tells you, hey, you can expect to see the execution path of this file in here, Windows/System32, TV host.exe, etc. And I'm just giving an example here. It gives, and because I said assume the role of a security analyst, it gives you security considerations, etc. And now what you do with these is you're A, understanding what it is, B, seeing what's normal and what's the expected path, and then C, you're also getting more potential things to investigate. Hey, malicious actors may disguise as malware, as a legitimate process to evade detection. I think I'm going too deep into the investigation part because we're supposed to go into just working through the platform, but just a taste, I guess. But I have a quick question. Does anybody know what the term is when malware disguises as regular activity?
Great question.
Trojan? No.
What was it?
Trojan?
Trojan, close. It can be a
That's
Trojan.
an honorable
Is it?
yes.
Yes. The
Can't remember.
Give them
what
the
do you call
letter.
that? The letters are LOL. Wait, actually, it's not. It's LOO. That's not a good thing. It's living off the land. That's what it's called, guys. And it's the most current, like,
I got that.
difficult challenge that the security industry has, besides AI and all that, but has right now. Living off the land means hackers are starting to understand what normal looks like, and they hide from CrowdStrike and from these tools by acting like regular users in your system. But yeah, it'll be good to read some articles about it because it's very relevant. In any case,
So Jonathan, would that be like backdoor threats?
It could be like a backdoor that looks like a legit file that,
Okay.
let's think about a help desk position, and you're having trouble with your computer. So you have to download a backdoor so that I can help you with your computer. And how am I, as a security analyst, going to differentiate between the help desk doing that and a backdoor of a hacker who's like giving you that same backdoor that the help desk uses, right? And that's one of the challenges that people see right now in the industry, where they're trying to hide with the same tools that people use at work.
And is there anything that, like, where do you tend to look? Where does it begin?
Where does it begin?
Yeah.
Usually it begins with phishing, to be honest. Like
Okay.
90% of the time it becomes with somebody clicked a link in their email and downloaded something, and now boom. Or somebody clicked something and now a URL pops up and it looks like an Outlook
Okay.
sign-in page, and you think it's Outlook, so you're writing your username and password, and then that information goes directly to the hacker. And then yes, that's usually how it comes in.
Most, I would say like 60%, maybe even more, of like ransomware attacks stem from phishing. I would say most malware stems from phishing. So somebody clicking on a link, someone downloading a file, clicking on an attachment, submitting their credentials to a spoofed or bogus site. And I want to comment on what Isabella, what Bella
Yeah.
commented, her attempt. Trojan's the type of malware. And this is like one of those malwares that when you download, let's say a piece of malware that's categorized as a Trojan, right? It stems from, there's history on Trojan, the Trojan horse, right? But the essentially what it is it's a particular type of malware that when you download it, it doesn't execute or it doesn't trigger malfeasant behavior right away. So a Trojan typically is going to, once executed, it's going to remain dormant on a system, learn the behavior of a system, and eventually will detonate at a later point in time, a week, 2 months, a year. So that's when she said Trojan, she's not necessarily wrong. It was just a good, it was a great attempt. And then I would personally would have got that wrong. Living off the land, I would have got that wrong. I would have said masquerading, because like essentially when threat actors masquerade their behavior, that's a fancy way of saying that they're like, think of makeup. Like no shade to anyone who wears makeup, but it's like almost like trying to mask what the underlying skin tone or whatever is. And I'm no offense to any women who are using makeup. I'm just saying that it's like you're essentially you're trying to mask a particular set of behaviors, characteristics, or activity. So if you have freckles and you don't have freckles, you may wear makeup to cover your freckles, right? Whatever the case may be, right? And so that was just something that I thought of. I thought of masquerading instead of, as opposed to living off the land. But I think it's a great, we pointed out both. So good job, everybody.
So the
I'm
biggest,
just now filling out. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was gonna just ask, because I read that 0-day attacks or 0-day is what is it? The largest threat, but it's not. It's live off the land.
So you guys remember what I said last week? What's the biggest threat to every
Oh,
organization?
insider threats. Yeah,
What's the
insider
second one?
threats. Oh,
User.
user error.
So it's almost like your user who are malicious, the insider threat, and then your losers, your users who are idiots. Like there's someone who's doing something, and I'm speaking, facetiously, but you have an insider threat who's doing something intentionally malicious to harm insider. Why are they the greatest threat? Because they have access to your systems. So they have the keys already. They already have that access to a system that a threat actor would have to obtain, right? Unauthorized. They have the authorized access already, so they're more dangerous than even someone externally. And then a user, just typical user errors, Sally in sales clicking on a phishing email because she got a notification saying your UPS shipment is delayed, or that she got a toll violation, or that she got a speeding ticket in a school zone, or, right? And so that user error is also a big thing. And then third would be the 0-day attack. And that's
Okay,
a
thank
fancy
you.
word because a 0-day means there's 0 days to prepare. It's essentially saying that in the wild, when we talk about vulnerabilities, when John showed the article earlier and said that this is a great way for you to exchange communication and have a conversation started with your network or anyone who will care to listen, is in those articles, they're covering what particular threat actors are doing. Who are they targeting? What attack vector are they exploiting? What vulnerability are they exploiting? In what systems, in what devices, in what operating systems, in what hardware? And they're going into the fine details on what is happening. Okay. And so ultimately, the purpose for companies to receive that intelligence is for them to then gather that intel and then go proactively threat hunt in their environment to confirm whether or not they are vulnerable to those threats. If they are in a position where where the company can be compromised, if they are exposed to those vulnerabilities, because if they are, they can proactively then block them. They can go and say, okay, let's do a search on this hash in our environment and see if we get any hits. Are there any endpoints? What's an endpoint? A workstation, a laptop, a cell phone, a server. Are there any endpoints that are emulating activity that resonates with this hash? If there is traffic, if there are hits, if there is logs, well, then that tells you that there's an issue. That tells you that you need to then contain that, right? If there isn't, great. Well, then let's block it and be proactive, right? And so that's how companies use threat intelligence, which are those articles that we were talking about earlier. And companies are looking for that stuff every single day. Even if, let's say, a supplier company, a sister brother company, a competitor, if you work at Nike and Adidas gets hit with a ransomware attack from Fancy Bear Threat Acting Group, then Adidas, if they do business with Nike, I guarantee you are going to reach out to Nike and say, hey guys, we heard about this in the news. Hey, can you guys share any of your intel on IOCs? What does that mean? Indicators of compromise. You guys mind sharing that with us so we could, be proactive on our side? What are the IOCs? A hash file, a file executable, a hash, a domain, a URL, right? From a phishing campaign, an IP, a campaign of IPs, right? That's the type of data they're interested in so that they can go within their own environment and proactively threat hunt to harden the environment to avoid being the next victim who's susceptible to those types of attacks.
That's right. So I was just writing a little short summary, and I am not I'll just admit it right now, I am not as sharp as Will is with writing summaries because I'm writing code now. But
it's so good. I was actually
try to hit the major
sorry to
points.
interrupt you, John. I was going to say, I'm going to create tonight on my agenda is I'm creating, and I've created about 3 run books already for you guys, documents that you guys will review and need to be familiar with. I'll share them with you. But I have 3 done already. The next one that I'll be creating for you guys that you guys will have access to and start using is going to be a disposition framework. So like it'll be a disposition, what John is writing right now. And if you remember what we did last week, that you guys can use as a template. So it's going to be a disposition template, not framework, a disposition template that you guys will use when you're writing your summary dispositions. So on date, CyberXCS received the following detection alert for the description. So as you can see here, and I'll let you just talk through it, John, because you're doing the same thing that I would do. But just know you guys will have that disposition template to use. And after you read it and you write enough of these, you'll just understand exactly kind of what steps you'll need. It'll just flow. You'll know on this date, we reviewed an alert for name of alert, period, description of the actual alert, period, details.
So, and I have hazardly wrote this. All right, this is special. So on date, who CyberXCS received a detection regarding executable on host by user. And then I put the description with the alert itself. I didn't come up with it. It told me it, right? So the executable launched from an unusual location. I can summarize this myself. So if I'll just say file path was unexpected, investigate actually I'll just keep this. Then I added my notes. I said the file path, the expected file paths should be on what I found from my research, Windows System 32, not CV host.exe. The hash blank, I've actually put the hash itself in there just for evidence and tracking. And if anybody needs to review my notes and let's say I get called out on it, I can right away point to the hash itself. A lot of times during investigations too, people just take screenshots of what they do. And like I would take a screenshot of me of the result of the virus total page, and we can post it in the tool itself. The file determined was not malicious by OSINT tools. And then no suspicious network activity observed. I did that while we were talking. I took a quick peek at the process tree. And in CrowdStrike, you can see, and this is where like your security awareness and the why reading these articles is really important too, is because you see how people get breached and what a hacker, because you have to think like a hacker, is that mentality. What they're trying to do is get communication from inside your company to outside to their what's called a command and control, where that's where they're controlling everything from. Because IPs and all these systems, they don't know anything. They have to get instructions from somewhere. And when we talked about a Trojan, for example, or just malware in general, its goal is to get instructions from somewhere. It's trying to get out of your network and go and talk back to a central location where it's like, okay, what's next? Okay, then do this. Okay, what's next? Things like that. So you're looking for network activity. And when I looked for it, was going to the process tree. And on that file where it said that this yxn6tfp.exe, you can look at and see if that file tried to get out of your network. Did it try to send a message outside? Let's explore.exe. If I look for, I forgot, it's like a drag thing now. There it is. If I look for the executable, which is nice that they highlight it for you so you know which one it's about. And I look down here, I can see all types of activity. I can see the IP of that desktop. I can see what type of system it is. It's a workstation. I can see the libraries, etc. What I don't see is that there was any type of outbound communication from that executable, and I can see that it's basically an orphan process. So that means it doesn't have even more processing in that tree. So I know I didn't communicate outside. So I'm satisfied with, hey, this is a false positive, right? This isn't it. The path was actually not as different as you would expect. It started with Windows system.32, and then it went to explore.exe, and then to the file. The file was benign. The hash was good. I saw no network connections outside. All right, I'm satisfied in saying, hey, this is a false positive. Any questions on this position or what I just went over real quick? I want to pivot over to QRadar.
Where would where would you see any outbound connections at, and which section would it be in? If that makes sense.
So let's look at a process which did have outbound communication, so you can see what I'm saying. And even this, maybe I need to make this a little bigger. But you see that little red symbol out there?
Mm-hmm.
That's network operations. That's the symbol that process, and you can see that it has a little plus at the bottom here, meaning that it's like a tree. So that branch, it's going to keep going down that branch, and there's other processes. So if I look at this executable process, let's see down here, network operations. I'm seeing that this IP was reaching out of this IP on port 443, et cetera, et cetera. So I
got it.
So just by looking, and this is why everybody loves CrowdStrike. It just breaks it down. Like, this is the suspicious processes. This is where, this is the IP they were talking to, right? And things like that. And I remember, I think it was Sean brought up Wireshark. You don't got to do all that, right? With CrowdStrike, it's telling you exactly what you need to know, what time it did this, and all of that, right? And then you can pivot to that system within CrowdStrike too. So it's just, yeah, this is the beauty of CrowdStrike.
Why it's
Breaks
the
it down.
leading. It's why it's the
Mhm.
leading tool in the space. It's the leading cybersecurity company in the world.
Yeah.
But if you also look on the left-hand side, Manny, and everybody, you see how highlighted by, you see that red network operations with 17 drop down. You can also see it from that side as well. So there's also different views. So like you can look on the right-hand side, look at where John is. He's in the process tree. So he's in the process tree tab. If you look, if he scrolls right above where he is, he's highlighting the process tree, but he can go to the left and be in a process table view, which may be easier for you guys to see what you're looking for. I actually don't even like the process tree anymore just because of the new UI. It makes it a little bit more complicated, but they have a process table view, a details view, process graph, events timeline. You can see a lot of the same information in a different view. So if you look here, it's still showing you the tree on the left-hand side as like the guardrails, but it'll show you each individual process, grandparent process, parent process, child process. So when you have to navigate and you click and there's like a plus sign and then multiple processes spin from that branch, that's typically an indication that one process spawned multiple processes. And so you can see with these different icons, like network operations, process operations, registry operations, DNS connections. So if your host connected to different, right, outbound to different domains, so you can look at the same information in different views.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important. I think what the mindset is first and foremost one of the most important things, is getting into the mindset of a hacker and reading what they're doing, how they do it, because when you get in here, you're going to have a variety of different paths to go, but understanding, okay, a hacker needs to communicate outbound, so I needed to understand if there was any communication outside the network. Okay, where do I see that? Boom, right here, network operations, DNS, etc. So, but yeah, yeah. Thanks for asking that, Manny. Let me see. So, any questions though on this? I think we did a quick overview of CrowdStrike, but any questions before we wrap up this section? Okay. Any comments, Will? Anything?
I think that
QRadar.
you hit it right on the head.
Good.
Yeah, what I'd like to do now is if we could and again, you guys will have some time. I want to make sure we're stopping you know, on the time. So you guys can have like that extra hour to go in there and play around with yourself. You know, play around in the tools, you know, kind of navigate, because we're showing you guys, y'all have access to this stuff. So you guys will have an hour after we're done with the session to like go in here and like, you know, like get lost, right? That's what essentially what you want to be able to do is you want to go in here, you know, look at the detections, get lost in the process tree, click on things, and kind of start to like navigate, you know, for yourself. Like right now, we're giving you guys the training wheels, the guardrails, you know. So if you ever never ridden a bike and you need some training wheels so you don't fall, all right, fine. If you've never went bowling and you know don't want to end up in the gutter, put up the guardrails. And that's kind of what we're doing here. So, you know, after the session is over, like feel free to stay on and you guys have access for like another hour before they get cut off. And you guys can go in there and start to look at the detections, play around and get familiar. And so John's logging into QRadar now, which is the SIM tool we haven't seen yet, but we've heard all about. This is definitely a leading tool in the space. There's, you know, people have their opinions. You might want to wear James Harden sneakers. Some people want to wear Ja Morant. Some people want to wear, you know, Kevin Durant. I don't wear Kevin Durant's because I twisted my ankle in them. And, you know, one time I met Kevin Durant in 2009 and he gave me a left-handed 5. And I was like, man, you're food. I'm not jacking it.
Oof.
So I just don't wear Kevin Durant sheets, but some people like Splunk, some people like QRadar, some people like Microsoft Sentinel, some people like, you know, Google Chronicle. Some people, you know, it's just a preference. But this is definitely a leading tool in the space. I've definitely used it pretty much every
Looking for it.
I've worked at. Sorry.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Okay, cool. But yeah, so this is Google IBM QRadar. which is a SIM tool, Security Information Event Management Console. And so just to iterate that, I'll shut up. And I want John to just iterate exactly what the tool does. Because this is the tool,
Okay.
this is a tool he works in. He understands this. So I have my strengths and weaknesses, but he's an engineer. So I respect the engineering behind this tool because there's different data that flows into it, and how it all works is really important because it's pretty much consistent across the board. So what is a SIM? Like, what is a SIM, John? And how does this work? Like, what's happening on the back end so people understand?
Yeah. So to break it down, so a SIM, which is a security information and event management system, is a tool which aggregates and collects event data, logs from all your systems, all different types of systems, whether there's firewall, database, web servers, laptops, workstations, mobile devices, everything, active domain controllers. It aggregates everything into one central location so that you can write detection rules on top of it, right? And in this way, you have one central place where everybody's streaming all their data. You don't have to go into different places to try to hunt down what happened. You can conduct your investigations here. So think of a SIM as just basically a central location where data is collected. So even CrowdStrike alerts, do you think people are working out of CrowdStrike? They may, but a lot of times people are having the alerts sent to a central location because they're not just going to get alerts from CrowdStrike. They're going to get them from Microsoft Defender, a Proofpoint Tap, for example, or that's a phishing type of tool that detects phishing links and things like that and sends the alerts, or AWS Cloud. All detections, one place. And that's what the SIM is doing. Now, QRadar works exactly the same way. As you can see here, this is what they call a dashboard, right? Everybody kind of knows what a dashboard is in terms of like a car or like whatever it is. And this is showing you system monitoring information. Now, as security analysts, you won't be looking at these from a SIM perspective. Typically, a SME, which is a subject matter expert or an administrator of the tool itself, is looking at this stuff because they need to make sure that it's healthy. And the way they look at it is by looking at the metrics and all this information. So I can look at this information and I see that this tool is getting about 5,000 events right here, basically every minute. And this is getting collected from all different types of endpoints and all different type of events, all getting into one place. And I'll show you where this comes back later. So I'm not going to pay too much attention to this section right here. I actually don't even know what these seems like an interesting one. Threat security monitoring. Okay, this is talking about offenses, etc. So we'll go into that. As security analysts, what you're going to be working out of is this queue right here. Offenses. Every tool has their own lingo, right? You know, what's the difference between an alert and offense? None. There is no difference. Alert, offense, violation, rule, policy. It just means something you need to respond to. It's an alert you need to respond to. These are the alert.
Is there anything more critical? Is it like severe or just all under one response?
They're all alerts. In QRadar, just like in CrowdStrike, there's a severity rating. Here in QRadar, we have something called magnitude. And I think we'll go into that in a little bit when we look at the alerts. But think of this as the severity. You see that some a little bit more stringent than others right here. But each of these are alerts. And if you're able to log in, did you try to log in again, Dom? I think you should be able to log in now.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, perfect. So if you're here, you see that this is just a queue, very similar to how QRadar had that detection queue with the alerts. This is the alerts of QRadar. We see different alerts, right? Anomaly, access to a honeypot, or tar pit defined address. The service started, same alert. Multiple login failures to the same destination containing authentication failed. That sounds like an interesting one. Let's see that is. Okay. So to get to one of these alerts, if you want to follow along, you got to double click it. You double click it, you go into the offense. Okay. And here we see a couple of things, right? You see that magnitude I was talking about? It's right here. We see a severity score, of relevance, a credibility. Will, do you want to talk through what each one of these mean, kind of to the alert itself? Because it's been a while, but
bad, I'm on mute.
good.
Yeah, so just like take everything for face value here. You know, all of these different fields that you see, for example, magnitude, right? You see that yellow bar, it's basically trying to give you an idea of what the magnitude of this alert is. Well, you can also look like, does it say here the medium? No, but I would severity 4, relevance 2, severity 4, credibility 3, right?
Yeah.
So
I believe it's out of 10, right?
I think it's out of 10. So the severity 4, credibility 3, relevance 2, magnitude, that's an indication of like the severity of this particular alert. Like if you see this magnitude red and the severity 9, then obviously you would understand, and the credibility 9, then you would be like, okay, then there's probably more meat on the bone here. There's more indicators of attack or indicators of compromise, right? It could be IP addresses with malicious reputation. It could be outbound connections to a known command and control server. You just got to kind of go through and just read each field. And so we have the offense description. So it's saying multiple login failures to the same destination containing authentication failed. So something is continuously failing to log in to the same destination. Is that like a DDoS attack? Is that, you know, a legitimate user like continuously failing to log in? Maybe they change their password and there's an automatic script that's just like trying to authenticate.
Does anybody know what another word? Ray, does anybody know what DDoS means?
Denial of distributed denial of service.
Yeah.
Yep, distributed denial of service. And does anybody know what's another word of saying that? It's actually multiple ways. Yeah, brute force. Yep. Say with that's exactly what that means. Say it with your chest. There's another one too. There's a credential stuffing is a little different, but it's a different type of attack. But it's very similar, where somebody is trying to authenticate with a different different passwords, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just trying as much as they can. And this tells you again the description. Source IPs, we'll get into this part, but what I like to show, the most important part, is the actual events, which kind of gives you a understanding of what activity happened. If I look at the events,
I want to comment one thing
Yeah,
too.
go
It's
ahead.
important to point out, right? We're looking at an offense. So when you hear an offense QRadar is the only tool that I know of that refers to alerts as offenses. So most other tools are going to refer to alerts as alerts or detections, right? So QRadar has its own language. It says offenses. Okay, fine. So an offense or an alert or a detection is all used interchangeably, okay? And an alert or an offense or a detection can be comprised, made up of an event, but typically multiple events make up an alert or a detection. Everybody follow that? So what John's doing is he clicked on this offense in QRadar, and now he's opening up the events logs or the event flow to look at what events took place, why this alert is firing.
Mm-hmm. So now I'm doing the investigation for this. Now, and to be clear, right, we in CrowdStrike, it's usually people don't really work in CrowdStrike as much because it's not usually done, the investigation and notes is not done there. But a SIM and or a case management platform like SockBite, you will put notes, you will take assignment of a alert / a offense here. And I went over it, but how do I know that if I'm working this queue right now, how do I know that Renee or Dom won't take this and start working on it at the same time? And now you have two people kind of working on the same thing. You have to assign it to yourself. So one of the things you want to do, and especially in a sim, you would just assign it to yourself, etc. I'm not going to do that because I'll have you guys work on it later, but that's how you would do that. Now, going back to the events, right? Hey, we have a, I'll actually ask questions right here. How do we want to do this? Yeah, let's ask some questions, right? I like, this is just the way I teach. I like to like be interactive. So what are you guys noticing about this table right here?
Which table are we looking at? Okay.
View. So what are you guys noticing about this graph and this table? Event name, log source, time. You see the table with the different columns.
Yeah,
What do you guys see?
the log source, well, the log source is all the same, but is that where they're hacking? That's where they're trying to connecting to?
What is the log source?
The logs,
That's a good, yeah.
What is
the
it?
log,
Okay.
the log source, is that where is that the company's IP
Don't think too much into it. I'm asking you what the log source and the
oh,
answer
the log
in front of your
source is just
face.
the timestamp, right?
No, tell
No.
me what it is. Read it to me. Read the log source.
Oh, Netgate PF sense at 10 with the IP address.
So put it in Google right now, not the IP address. Just put Netgate PFSense in Google and tell me what the log source is.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
don't and I'm speaking to everybody. Don't overcomplicate this. It's telling you what's happening. It's giving you the event name, which is a bad username. It's telling you why it's triggering on a bad username. Someone, Manny Thomas, typed in Manny Thomas and forgot the S. Right? The log source is a Netgate PFSense. I don't know what the hell that is. What is it? What is that log source? Remember, a SIM collects data from different endpoints and log sources, all different types of logs. That centralized location is collecting data from all different types of log. What is this log source, Renee?
So I Googled PFs. I Googled it. It said an open source firewall.
Aha! You got it.
FreeBSD.
You got it. You said it. As soon as you opened your mouth, you said it. An open source firewall. This is a firewall.
Okay.
Yep. We're looking at
the source of this information was coming from a firewall in the network.
Okay. Thank you.
So like a SIM doesn't create like logs or events. It's getting it from somewhere. And the source of that information for these specific logs is a PFSense firewall. And this right here, event name, is exactly what it sounds. Bad username. So we got a bad username. We got SSH login failed. So what do we put two to two together? Somebody was using wrong credentials 27 times to the same destination. And then we see here, we have
a brute attack.
Go ahead, Don.
Is it a brute attack?
Yes, it's a brute force attack.
Okay.
Right. So they're coming from different directions. I see Chinese flag. So if I look up this IP in my open source tools, let's see.
What's a good tool? What's a good tool to look up an IP address, guys?
Virus total.
What
The
else?
size virus total.
What else?
Shodan.
Shallows.
Drop it in the chat. I want to know. Everybody needs to know this. I heard virus total. I heard abuse IP database, one of my favorite. I heard Talos. I heard Shodan. You guys need to bookmark these tabs. I told you guys bookmark and create accounts on these. All that should be done tonight. But abuse IP database is exactly what it sounds like. It's a database made up of abuse IPs, right? So if I see some from China, that's going to automatically raise a red flag because it's a China-based IP. Hello. And so I want to throw that in our tools, in our different open source. And guess what? One isn't enough. You may see that first and foremost, if you see an IP that was detected 2,060,000 times and 100% confidence score, that right there is like, all right. But you may find or come across IPs that in virus total has like 1, maybe 2. Like if John moves over to virus total, right, it may have, right, a reputation where it's 7 out of 94. Now, that's not terrible. However, this would probably give me the confirmation I need. That's like, it's probably not good. But let's just say it was 1 hit. I may want to go to another tool to get confirmation and reassurance. And if I see this, I'm like, okay, great. Virus total 7 out of 94 vendors said that they flagged it as malicious and phishing. Abuse IP database is saying 100% confidence this shit is suspicious. So you want to make that correlation and have multiple sources tell you the same thing, because it's not uncommon for an IP to have a bad reputation and then get clean, or to be clean and then have a bad reputation, right? Because that's common. John, have you had that experience before where you've seen that?
All the time.
Why does that happen?
Well, because they don't want to get caught, and they burn through these like people burn through, burner phones. Luckily, there's a whole industry and a whole groups of people who are, their job is day by day to just try to track these down, collect them, and give them to. They sell it to top Fortune 500 companies, because a top 500 company knows if they get hacked, they lose way more money than paying these people and these researchers this money would be. Because think about it, how willing would you be to buy something from Amazon if you knew that if you put your credit card or something like that, it'll come out and now your information's out there, right? You wouldn't make any money on that.
I have a phone from my job, and I get these calls, almost everybody gets spam calls, I imagine. Now we all do potential spam. I sometimes answer, hey, what do you want? Leave me alone. Like, I'll just mess with them. So when he says like, hi, are you calling for your, your loan forgiveness program? And I know this guy's voice because we talk all the time. I like answer his calls because I answer the calls sometimes because I think they're recruiters, and I get calls from recruiters like every day. So I'll answer the call, and I know this one guy's voice so well. He's been trying to get me for a while. So now I just speak Chinese to him. I act like I ask him if he wants to order Chinese food, because now he just gets me so tight that he's still trying me. I know this guy's voice, John. It's the same motherfucker. I'm like, yo. Yeah. So now I just say, so I just talk to him. I said, what you want to order? You want fried rice? And I just fuck with him until he hangs up. And call me back for a couple of days, and then he tries me again. But I mean, they're pretty tempting. So anyway, But I
Yeah.
was saying all that to say, I get calls on a company phone and they ask for this guy, Frank, right? There's always a pharmacy calling for Frank. I'm like, I'm not Frank, but apparently this phone number was associated with a Frank before, right? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that these IP addresses can be associated with malicious activity, suspicious activity, scanning activity. Look at those reputation labels in VirusTotal and Abuse IP database, in Shodan, in Talos, and see what it's saying. This has a reputation for blank, scanning, reconnaissance, web app attacks, brute force attacks, impersonation, phishing. Look at the labels and the categories that it's saying. Because sometimes IPs can be malicious, sometimes they can have a reputation, and then they get clean, right? Companies, threat actors will host malicious domains and phishing sites on specific domains, then they get taken down, then that domain or IP reputation is kind of gets cleansed, and then it's being used for something good. So you just got to kind of leverage multiple sources is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So any questions on that? It's on open source intelligence and using that.
So we have an IP. We know it's the log source thanks to Renee. We know the log source. We know the event is for a bad username. Everyone here knows what a bad username is because we've all mistyped our username before. We have a timestamp. Okay, so that time. We have an event count, meaning how many events. We have a low-level category. So it's saying SSH login failed. SSH is a protocol. Does anyone know what that is, what it's used for, and what protocol number, or excuse me, port number is associated with that? Thank you, Sean. Sean said 22. Do we know what SSH is used for?
Terminal?
Communicate to computers.
Sean, excuse me, John, what is SSH like? How have you used SSH in your day-to-day or just
day-to-day? Yeah. So secure shell protocol, right? You'd use it to remotely connect to a system in an encrypted tunnel, right? It's using TLS encryption.
Take that.
Yeah, go ahead, Manny. I'm sure you.
My bad. Yeah. No. So SSH can be used in a variety of different ways, but the first thing that comes to mind is secure shell. You can use it to remote into computers. It's also used to like transfer files between each other. But yeah, is my right? Am I along the right path?
No, you're 100% correct. It's used to remotely tunnel into other computers in the network. I've used it to do changes, whether it's running updates on servers or performing DR tests, for example. I need to be able to get into an endpoint. I'm sure you used it, Manny, on a day-to-day, like
every day.
Yeah, right. So to work with users and help them through their issues. So
well, but real quick, I know we're on this, but like I'm seeing that source IP, and I'm like, a source IP to means like where the bad attempt is coming from, right? So now picking back up what Dom is saying, I know it's a brute force attack or DDoS attack. So I'm guessing this is some type of botnet or like something like that because it's coming from multiple different source IPs. So a botnet, it would say is like a collection of different users or computers that are using to try to make this bad username attempt.
Exactly, and that's the distributed, the DDoS part of it, the distributed denial of service is meaning that it's coming from a distributed group of sources, and typically it's a botnet, right? It's like there's zombie computers that are all going to the same place, and you see that this destination IP, which is where they're all pointed to, is the same IP. So they're just hitting that box over and over. If it's a one IP, which it usually never is, if it is, it's, I mean, I think we have another example where it might be. It's that it's one single computer, so that's a denial of service attack. It's one person, one source.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, and I'm not even gonna. Go ahead.
Can you show us what will you do to upload the actual and the like if you use IBD? Like what will you link or what
Show you what?
or like how would you in essence locate if it's a bad login source or and abuse IBD one more time?
Okay. Yeah. So I would take one of these. I would just honestly copy and paste. I'll take this IP and copy, and I'll just go over to abuse IP. It might be I'm missing one. And then I'll just copy and paste, enter it. I see that country of origin where this IP is located is in China. Looks like it's used for web hosting and data center. Whenever you see this, think of this is a rental. This is a rented IP. There's literally people who are offering their services. Is like, here, I'll let you use this IP for a specific side of time. It's anonymous, and hackers love that because they're just renting IPs left and right. So this is just a hosting company that's has this IP, and anybody can use it. Based out of China, 100% confidence of its abuse, and it was reported 2,600 times already. So
I have a question. So can legitimate web hosting providers host malicious domains, sites, IPs?
Is that a question to me or for everybody? To me?
It's a question to you. Just get
100%. 100%.
So legitimate web hosting providers, Cloudflare, I don't know, could host malicious activity, malicious domains.
100%. And that's why I kind of thank you for highlighting that. That's why you also want to focus on usage type, because it's not just hey, has anybody seen this as bad? Yes, they do tell you that. But let's say this says, oh yeah, this is good, but it still says it's a web hosting provider. My spidey senses is already like, that's fishy. Why would one of my users or one of why would an employee want to be coming from a web hosting provider? I mean, it depends on your industry, but we know hackers don't want to get tracked, so they rent from web hosting. Maybe this is an IP that hasn't been reported yet. And honestly, this actually reminds me, just to pivot back to, where was it? The article that I was talking about. There's an article here about Cloudflare. You guys should read it. It's about Cloudflare domain abuse. Threat actors are increasingly abusing Cloudflare's pages.dev and workdev domains for phishing campaigns. They're leveraging trusted reputations, built-in SSL. They're using Cloudflare pages. It's the usage. So get this: they're literally using legit IPs because Cloudflare, if you don't know, they're a hosting provider, and they're legit. Like you can go to cloudflare.com and host your website on it. And because hackers know that people trust Cloudflare, they're hosting their stuff in there, and it just shot up 198% in 1 year. Like this is like real time, real world. This is what's happening out there. They're using legit IPs from legit domains to get your confidence. Go. I see Bella, you have your hand up.
So would that be an LOTL, a living off the land type of thing, like we were talking about before?
That's close, but living off the land is considered living off the land if you're in the network itself. If you're like, this is more outside, they're trying to gain confidence. In a way, it's kind of social engineering because you're trying to engineer a expected behavior from your target, right?
Isabella, you have a business, yeah? What does your business do?
Services?
Do you have a website for your business?
No.
Are you ever planning on having one?
Yes.
You're going to need to host your website somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of GoDaddy?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Cloudflare is. By the
Mm-hmm.
way, I didn't even know this article had Cloudflare listed in it when I said that. I just said it because I recently came across an instance where there was a Cloudflare hosting that was hosting malicious IPs and domains. So my point in case, guys,
Yeah.
you know, these different web hosting providers, hackers are taking advantage, just like GitHub, John. And this is your domain again. I don't really contribute on GitHub, but I believe GitHub repositories are also used in that manner too, where it's like hackers also abuse those GitHub repositories, right?
100%. Yeah,
How does that work?
so GitHub, you're able to put in GitHub is a place where you can upload your code for people to use. So, I mean, all the developers are in GitHub. They'll either upload their code up there so that people can see their work, or they'll download people's work because, like, oh, this is a cool project somebody did in GitHub. Well, I have one of my like coworkers. As soon as he sees that the person who uploaded the thing is the thing on GitHub is from China, he never uses it. And just it's not nothing against China or whatever, but it's like if you're in the U.S., you should know that the Chinese government, the Russian government, and Iranian government, they're all targeting North Korea. They're targeting. We see them we see them all the time. So we just don't trust their software because if you download something from GitHub thinking, oh, this is a cool project, let me just see, they're probably putting a backdoor in that code and you don't even know it.
How do you
So
validate what you're coming across on GitHub? Like, how do you like if you're trying to do a project and you want to look at someone's code or like something like, is there a way to like validate, like, or be
there's
more
tools
confident?
and there's like Virus Total legit, like if you pay for their subscription where you can
Yeah.
download it and it sees like what happens and how the code behaves. It's like any type of malware, so it'll be able to analyze it,
So
and then you could just do research on the person.
yeah, get like a more of like it's almost like Facebook Marketplace or any other like marketplace where it's like you look at the reviews, you look at the reputation of the seller, and you can kind of get a determinate. There's a lot of scams on
Exactly.
Facebook Marketplace. Like you always know, I'm looking for a car now. Recently sold my car on Marketplace, and how I can tell right away it's a scam. One, too good to be true. Second, a lot of times a new profile created. If someone just created a profile in 2020
2024. Yeah, that's a good
and
check.
they're selling they're selling their Maserati for 12 grand and it's 2019 with 7,000 miles. You're a moron if you think that that's the case. And then you'll also notice when you say, "Hey, are you interested?" or when you communicate, the first thing they want to do, we're on a perfectly fine platform. The first thing they want to do is if you want more information, I'm selling this for my uncle. And if you want more information, send me your email or send me an email to this email. And it's like their name is John and the email's name is Andy522918 at Gmail. It's like, come on, give me a break. So just be mindful. But I'm saying all that to say the reputation, and we talked about it, right? Sandboxing. John was saying if you pay for Virus Total, they have a sandbox. I didn't even know that. I just never used Virus Total Sandbox. CrowdStrike has a sandbox, but the open source tool Joe's Sandbox that I told you guys to all create an account, you can detonate malware within that environment, and it could be in the form of a file and it could be in the form of a URL, and you can detonate it and it'll actually show you live what happens, what processes are spawned as if it was on your own laptop, and screenshot like the different clicks, like if something launches and it'll screenshot what happens. Manny?
No, real quick, I keep looking at this QRadar screen and I'm like, we talked about how SSH is port 22. How come we don't see any port numbers listed in the source port or the destination port section?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So
why does it just say 0?
yeah, that's a good question. I think honestly in this particular case, by the way, just because it's SSH doesn't mean that I'm going to send it to port 22, right?
True.
I think we simulated some of these detections, so that's why it might be this way. But that's one of the big things to remember is I've seen it multiple times where, hey, DNS, I thought it was supposed to be port 53. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not. It's, you know, or HTTP. It's why is it, you know, 8080 or something like that? Like, that's things that should, as a security analyst, pick your brain because that's not supposed to happen. It should be port 22. So now you're like, okay, this is like, why did somebody set it up this way? And the reason why that as a hacker, because you also have to get that mentality is, again, you're trying to evade detection. So I know port 22 is supposed to be for SSH, but let me see if they already blocked me on port 22, because you can block on like, hey, block this person coming on port 22. What if I try port 1433? I don't know, but the same protocol. You can configure your SSH command to go through a different port. So,
and I also want to say too, get familiar with the common ports. So there's like 66 or something thousand ports available, but there's like a common there's like a range of common ports. Like Manny saying 22 is known to be used for SSH. 23 is Telnet. Now, again, I'm just saying common ports doesn't mean that they're being used or that they are best practices, but people know what they are. So if you don't know that SSH is port 22, that's just like a red flag. It's rudimentary. It's rudimentary, preliminary. Some of you have asked me, is there anything I'll need to know in order to do this program? And I said, not necessarily, but there'll be things that you'll need to learn simultaneously. This is one of them, right? Common ports, right? We talk about DNS, which is domain name resolution, essentially takes a IP address, like you see here. In this case, it's a private IP, the one you're seeing for 10 dot. But essentially, DNS takes an IP address and translates it into a domain, facebook.com, right? Behind facebook.com, underneath the hood, there's an IP address that domain lives on. So DNS, the protocol that has a port associated with it, which is typically always 53. DHCP allocating IP addresses, right? 67, 68. Port 80, which is web traffic, HTTP. HTTPS, which is HTTPS secure, port 443. SMB 445. You guys who have taken, and I don't even have a security plus, I still know this, right? It's good to understand what types of traffic you are associated on each ports, right? And there's not too many. It's not like you have to remember 100, maybe 20. Just be familiar with what types of traffic do people see on those ports. You know, SSH, your remotely secure shell connecting to remotely to a server, you know, file exchange. That's pretty much what you need to know when it comes to that.
And now, Manny, that makes sense.
Yeah. So pretty much, I mean, I'm guessing the reason why it's not showing anything here is because they're trying to masquerade themselves, or like maybe
Yeah.
like kind of by default, or like obviously we're simulating this exercise, so it could be a couple of different reasons, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's not surprising that it wouldn't be in the port, but in this case, I think it is because this is a simulation and they made it to a different port.
And it
Now,
also can be configuration issues. So it could also be like a configuration issue within the sim. So a lot of times, right, that could be the case as well. So again, take it for what it's worth. There's no telling why. It's, you know, we can find out. But there's more times than not, there's configuration issues with the tool where you're not getting that data or log.
I have a feeling that it is configuration details, because if I look at this, so if you see right here, this, I double clicked on it, and that's how you can go into the event. In here, you have what's parsed out. Now, this is getting a little like getting into more into the engineering side of this, but these logs are coming in a certain method, and where what the SIM's job is, and what a lot of my team spends time doing, is breaking down the raw text into the fields that you see on the SIM itself. And so this is the raw text. So this IP actually came in through, this is the actual port it tried to go in. So it wasn't even port 22. It was actually port 58692.
58,692.
Yeah. The six mentioned, there's Will mentioned there's like 66,000 ports, different ports. So
This is
a user
why
can
it's
just
so important.
pick.
Sorry to cut you off. This is why it's so important to understand the logic and the actual logic and the rule of why something is triggering more than just surface level. And that's the engineering, right? The content management engineering is what it's called, which is what John does. So you guys kind of are getting like, I want to say the best of both worlds and tutor on board.
Sides.
You're getting the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So this is the actual raw log that came from the firewall in its raw form. And then it breaks it down and then chops it up into like, okay, this is supposed to be the source IP. Something broke to say, hey, this is supposed to be the port. Something broke right there.
Gotcha.
And then if I keep going, by going to next, is going to take me to the next event in that chart. I see your hand there, Bella. What's up?
So who is like making those notes, I guess you could say.
Making the
Like
say that one more time.
it's like saying that it's at this time and it's an invalid user test from this.
That's not a note. So that's not a note. A note would show up somewhere else, but I get what you're saying. She's saying, where is that data, that logic coming from?
Yeah. So remember we saw that the source log source is PF sense. So it's a firewall. It's if we want to break down really quickly a firewall. I was kind of prepared. So breaking down what we're looking at here really fast. Right now, this might be a little small, but maybe I'll make it a little bigger. Can you guys see that little image right here? Maybe I just click on it. Crap. Let's see if I just zoom
I saw
in.
it pretty good. You go back, it looked like it was pretty. There we go.
Okay. So really fast, a firewall right here sits between our internal network and the external network, which is the internet outside, the outside world. We put a firewall, I'm sure you know, in between to block users that and connections that we do not want inside our network, and then also we put a firewall to block connections outbound that we don't want. And I don't want to explain the entire like network structure, but just so you know, the internet is down here. The IPs are getting through our firewall first, and then they're going into our LAN, which is the local area network, which is our internal network. And this is our internal traffic. And on the last session, I believe Will mentioned there's two IPs you want to know off the top of your hand, up like top of your head, that are internal IPs, and those are ones that start with, I don't know if anybody remembers.
Like 192?
Yep, 192.168. And then there's another one, 10 dots. The 10 dots are always internal communication, right? So when we saw in QRadar right here, what we're seeing is that this IP is trying to connect to this IP inside our network. So in between there, that firewall is tracking all that activity and it's like a little drain is piped into our SIM, and this information is coming directly from the firewall. So that's what that's getting. It's not, I didn't write this. It's all data being collected from our firewall there. And if we look back at the table here, we see that it's all to a 10 dot, the same 10 dot. So we see they're trying to get into our network.
And what kind of firewall is it, guys? What kind of firewall, Renee?
Netgate PF-Sense.
There you go.
There you go.
Does that all make sense?
Yeah, it does.
All right, John.
Yep. So now let's break this down. This alert right here, right? Let me take out my little notepad and start jotting some notes down. Because now we did our investigation already, right? We kind of went through this and we saw at a glance that there was, out of all these attempts, do we see any one successful login?
And I think real quick what we can do to show them, because this looks like a lot, right? So we didn't filter. Like we can look at this page and say, hey, do you guys see anything that says success or allow? But what you can also do, it's a good healthy habit as well, because you may need to do this if there's 1,000 pages, is you can do a quick filter. John, if you go back on how you got there, because I don't know if everybody saw that. I sure didn't, and I have a different way of getting to the same place. But if you see John is going on the top of this page and he's going to filter, he wants to filter out. We see the bad username, we see the failed stuff. Do we want to see if there was any allowed or successful stuff? So he's adding a filter.
You tell me, because I haven't worked in QRadar in a while.
Okay, so what I would have did, I'm sure you were on the right spot. I mean, we could even try that way too. I have a different way that I know works. I guess we can try that first. So if you right click in the event name in the table, go below where you were in the bad username field, right? For example, you can just click below there, like in the right click on bad username on one of those events. Like,
Gotcha.
right click there, and then you can filter on event name, not bad username. Okay. Or not failed. For example, you see here we have SSH login failed, right? So what that will do is it'll filter out everything we don't want to see so we can see the tree in the forest. So a lot of times when you're working in incident response, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of false positives, and there's a lot of failed traffic. We're looking for the one true positive. We're looking for the one successful login, because the failed traffic's failed traffic. Do we really care about that? Not really, right? We care for the successful traffic from a malicious IP. That's what we care about. We care about the successful login, the allowed traffic from a malicious IP. That's what we're trying to see here. So let's filter out all the fluff, the shit we don't care about, and let's go drill into the one thing we're trying to see. Just from that one filter, we've removed 99% of all the fluff and noise, and now we can see authentication failed and multiple login failures to the same destination. Now, team, has anyone observed any successful traffic?
It says fail, login fail, no?
So why don't we, right, based on that one filter, we know these 3 events, nothing here says success or allowed. So John, if you right click one more time, just filter on events where authentication failed, and then do one more for multiple login failure, we'll see what we're trying to see, which is no results. So right now, filter one more time, because we don't want to see login failure, we want to see allowed, and we should see no results found, and we can conclude our investigation. Now, if we see allowed traffic, then we'd investigate that further to see where is this allowed traffic coming from. Is it internal traffic, or is it some outbound traffic? Is there traffic going internally outbound to Chinese IP, or is there inbound traffic? Right, we would be able to investigate that. But at this point in time, I'm confident to say that we can close this one out as a benign event or a false positive, and that's what we're ready to do, and we're right on time. 2 minutes delayed. So I would say, does anyone want to give a stab at walking us through this disposition before we call it? And then you guys have an hour to kind of play around and continue to go through everything in both tools and explore. Anyone want to lead this disposition? Okay, I'm telling Bella. Oh, Justine, did you want to speak up and save her?
I was going to try, yeah.
All right, Justine, Isabella, you got your rain check. Go ahead.
Can you
You
share
can share
screen
your
again?
screen. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if you are you on the same alert? Did you follow along?
No,
Okay.
yeah, I couldn't find the same alert, to be honest. I was
Okay, so
looking
then
for.
let's do this. Let's do this. You share your screen and I'll help you get there.
Okay. All right, 1 second, please.
So listen, you guys, I know you guys have a lot of things to do. You guys have a lot of action items, okay?
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of things to do. I would really, really appreciate it if you guys can take the time to share your feedback, not just with us, okay? Not just with us. I love hearing how good my headshot looks, but with everybody in the community, okay? And on LinkedIn, right? What stood out to you, what you enjoyed. It could be you take your phone, you prop it up right in front of you. Hey, what's going on, guys? Just wrapped up our second week, blah, blah, blah. I love to hit that type of stuff, gets me really excited. Okay, Justine, you know where to go. We're going in the offenses tab, top left, right next to dashboard. That's where you're going to live as a security analyst. Okay.
Okay.
Now you're going to hit all offenses on the left-hand side, because that's what we're looking at, all offenses. And then
Gotcha.
John was analyzing the multiple login failure. And I believe, which one was it, 12 or was it 23? Do you remember, John?
This one? Multiple login failure from the same user? No.
No, it was
This one.
number 23, I
23.
believe.
Multiple
John?
logins. It's the same destination. Maintain.
I believe it
All
was-
right.
I believe it was 23. These look like the same anyway, so we can just go through the steps so everybody understands.
Gotcha.
Okay, where did you click? Okay, here we go. So we see 27 events. So we want to drill into those 27 events and we're going to filter. I just showed you how to do it. So now you're going to tell us exactly how to filter so we can get rid of all the fluff. Do me a favor before you do that. Hover over the low level category, right? Lower down, go down a little bit. And then in the middle of the column, low level to the right, like 2 or 3 columns. That's right there. And hover in the middle, not on the column, just in the events. Go in the events, like right there. Now right click. Filter on low level category, not SSH login fail. We don't want to see the failed. We want to see the success. And now we're back to where we were. So now let's filter 3 more times, 2 more times, just to get rid of the not failed logins, not the multiple login failures. And we should see no results found. Capiche? Everybody with me?
Kaposh.
Kaposh. So now go back, open a notepad, go back to the main, go back to the event, the main alert, excuse me. So you can close this out. And here we are. Open up a notepad. All right. And I'm going to provide the disposition template to you guys, but this is important for learning and reinforcing your learning, that you guys understand this. So we're always going to start out with the timestamp. So on timestamp. So on timestamp, which is
1 second.
right? You can just put here, title this. No, title this page. Title this disposition template.
Okay. Well, I'll fix it later.
This is for anything. Yeah. So
Yeah.
just disposition template, and that's it. So now on timestamp, the timestamp's in the event. So just go ahead and grab it from the event, or type it in, however you want to do it. So you can see here, I see the start, which is that start time right there, December 10th, 2024, 1:32 a.m. That's the timestamp. So on timestamp, you don't need to put it in parentheses, comma.
Okay.
So on timestamp, comma.
Sorry, I don't know. On
You're good.
time. You want me to just write it down, or you want
No,
me to
just
write
write the
down
date.
exact-
Just write the date, December 10th,
Gotcha.
comma, 2024. Right? And that's just, again, that's going to change for whatever alert you're working. But just understand, on timestamp, right? At the time, you want to make sure you put the day, the date and the time. That's important. The time, everything to a T. Okay. Cyber Exeus, we'll we'll say CyberXeus CCERT, because typically what we would say is, you know, our team, like, so CCERT, CyberXeus, XEUS, capital, whatever.
X.
XEUS. There you go. CCERT, this is going to be one word, all capital. CSIRT stands for Cybersecurity Incident Response Team.
Okay.
Investigated.
I'm gonna write it from here.
No, you're good. Don't
Investigated.
take your time. We ain't running anywhere. Everyone's here is on your time.
Thank you,
No
guys.
rush.
Investigated. Go ahead.
An alert
An
for,
alert
for. Now you're gonna take. I don't know if it allows you to paste out. Try pasting that. They're gonna take exactly an alert for, and hopefully it lets you paste it. Boom,
Okay.
and then right in front of containing. Right in front of containing.
Uh-huh.
Click right in front of containing and then hit a backspace. No, leave that. That's good. Just click right in front of the word containing. Now that's authentication. So reverse what you just, yeah, and hit back once. There we go. Space. There we go. So period. Okay. So that's what we investigate alert for. Okay.
Okay.
Now we have the on timestamp, our team investigating alert for, description of the alert. Okay. And now we can say what we did, right? So we can say analysis or investigation, right? I'm just brainstorming with you guys, but you can say analysis or investigation of the QRadar event logs revealed.
Why can't I spell it? Revealed.
It's all good. Revealed. And now what you're going to do is you're going to click on the events, because we don't need to make this up. We're just taking what we're seeing from the alert. I don't know what the hell. Let's go back. I don't remember. So let's go back. So we're saying, okay, oh, then, right? Investigation of the QRadar event logs revealed. Scroll down.
Are you what are you saying to scroll down on these?
Yeah, into the events. We want to see the events pane, which is that table below, right? That's all of the activity that we've seen in this offense, all these events. So we're going to say revealed multiple bad username.
Multiple bad username.
And failed login attempts. Now, scroll that bar to the right, because now I want to be specific. Right?
Coming from, should I put like the log source?
Aha! So you get, this is where we're going to put as much of the information. So we're going to say multiple bad username and failed login attempts. Observed, right? Observed by our firewall.
And then should I paste this?
Stemming from, and then scroll to the right, right? Scroll to the right. All right. So we know, all right, boom. Stemming from multiple source IPs and usernames targeting the following destination IP address, and then list that particular IP because it's consistent across the board. 10.0.143.75. That's a private IP. We know that because any 10 dot is. Period. You have steaming instead of stemming. So go above and fix it. Steaming instead of stemming. So you'll just say stemming, or you can say deriving, or you can say you know, whatever. I'm sorry, brain is fried, but you get the picture.
Okay. Yeah.
Stemming, deriving from multiple. You have an extra space in front of from, backspace 1 in front of from. I got a Hawkeye, y'all.
Yeah, you really
source
do.
IPs and usernames targeting the following destination IP address. Boom. right? Now we're going to say, upon filtering on the event logs, we have confirmed that there is no successful traffic to the following IP or to the following destination, excuse me.
So the traffic to the following destination.
Period. No suspicious activity or compromise was observed. Period. No, but was observed. Wait, remove the period. No suspicious activity or compromise was observed, comma. Period. No, period. Closing out as benign and no impact to the client. Okay. You're going to put a hyphen, like the line, the hyphen, right after the period, space, hyphen. Just one, yep. And then put your initials. You work this ticket. Now you're going to copy that and you're going to go into QRadar and you're going to go back to the offense. Go back because you're in the events. Go back to the offense, one tab over on the left. You're going to assign this to yourself. Going to go to assign to, and you do that in the beginning, of course, because by this point, 3 other people already did the work you did, and now everybody wasted their time. So when you first do this, when John said it initially, you assign it to yourself, of course, right? Because now you're working it. So go back to the alert. Did you try 23? Yep. And then hit assign. So double click in there. I want to make sure you guys got 45 minutes to stick around. So double click. Now underneath, go to the right a little bit, lower a little bit, assign to. Nope, too low.
Where is that? Can you describe it?
Go the way up, right above your mouse, right there. Now an inch up. Right there. Hit that, and now type in your name.
Oh, my initial or my name?
Just type in your name, and it should pop up.
Okay.
Oh, not you going too descriptive, girl. Just first name. She's the third. No, just type in your first name or your last name. See if it pops up. If it doesn't pop up, then that's a configuration issue, and I'll make sure you get it. Okay, just to admin. You could assign it to admin, and this way it'll save. Now it's going to be assigned, and then now click on actions above that. All right.
Actions.
At the top of like the like where it says no, that's too high. That's too high. Remember, stay in there. Right there to the right. You see where it says actions. Boom. Here we go. See, we're learning, guys. We're learning the console. So the more you guys do tomorrow, or if you guys stick around, you guys do one more of these, you'll remember where everything is. So now you're gonna go to close because we added. No. Sorry. You're gonna go to add note. Paste your note. And now we know admin, it's assigned to admin, but we know who worked it because Justine put her initials and she put a hyphen that's too long. She double hyphened, and that's okay. But I'm OCD, y'all. Don't judge me. I'm OCD. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. There you go. Note. Add note.
And out.
Okay. Now scroll down. You see your note?
No.
She likes to, I say scroll down, she goes zoom, like she don't even give it a
I see it.
Like, I'd be like scroll down, she goes zoom, like you girl, this ain't the whatchamacallit, what's that roller coaster where it goes, are you ready? And then boom, you go on the, was it King the Ka? Like give it a, you got the King the Ka mouse, girl. Just one click. Yo, John, adjust her mouse settings because his shit goes like scroll down, zoom, she's on the bottom of the page. So look, all right. So now we got our notes. Now we can close it out. So go to where you saw actions again. Look at you, where you going and all that. Now close out. So you can say instead of false positive, it is a false positive, but it's also not something we're going to say tuned. Again, this is configuration. This is what John would go in on the back end and be adding different categories for the disposition. So I would say, John, we need to add another disposition that reflects this more accurately. Just take away tuned and just put false positive or use whatever. For this one, we're going to use non-issue because it's a non-issue, right? It's not something that's a false positive that has been tuned. That would be something that like we already tuned. So, and then from here, you can also add your note. You can add your same disposition that you did for your note as well. So just kind of do that and hit OK and it'll be closed out. Perfect.
And when it's closed out, it's no longer on the dashboard
Right.
of all offenses.
So all right. So keep your mouse right where it is. You see right above the table, okay? You see those different filters. It says clear filter. No, that's too high. Right above the table, right, a little lower. Aha. So it says right above that, it says current search parameters. Right now, we're excluding, it says exclude hidden offenses, and then it also says exclude closed offenses. And so if you hit that clear filter next to closed offenses, you'll see the closed offense that you just cleared out. There you go, number 23, right there. If you look at the ID column, it's right there. So once you close it out, you're not going to see it anymore in the all offenses tab, because in the all offenses tab, we're excluding closed offenses. We only want to see the open offenses. So if you go back on the left-hand side in your all offenses tab, you're only going to see the open offenses now. You're not going to see the one you just closed out because we're not filtering on that. You see?
I see.
So if you want to see something you closed out, then just clear the filter for excluding closed offenses. And then you'll be back to all of the offenses that have been closed.
Okay, fair enough.
Awesome. You did great.
All right. I'm going to
Thank you
put
for letting
in the
me
description. Would you guys want me to put this in the chat?
Sure. That would be helpful. Thank you for letting me heckle you.
You're welcome.
So,
Let me stop sharing.
yeah, I'm gonna tell John to work on your mouse. How y'all feeling? That's a lot of information, okay? But we're taking our time with it. All right, we're taking our time with it. We're going to continue to rinse and repeat. We're just going to continue to do everything that we're doing every day because it's repetition. I've been doing this, guys, for cyberspace going on 10 years, and I've been doing this exact work since 2018. Man, he got the fires in the chat. Hopefully he'll make a video and tell everybody about how
No.
this is. It takes him like 4 years to do this type of stuff.
But
But anyway, it's a lot of information, but I've been doing this since 2018 and I still don't know everything. And anybody who sits in front of you and says that they do, just keep your distance from them, right? Because in this field, it's impossible to. But it'll get easier. It'll get easier. It'll get easier. Justine, I had to tell her, slow down, hold on, hang on, right? She didn't know where it was because you guys have never seen this before. I've been using CrowdStrike since 2018. They just updated the UI recently. Like what you guys are looking at is different from what I was using it when I was using it 2 months ago. So it can get confusing on where to find something, what to do. Hello. So you got to just get more familiar with it. Get more familiar with it. And now you guys, so I say, yo, stick around after this. Go play with it. Go in there, click on different offenses, navigate, click on buttons, see where you end up. Look at the information. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it. It's complicated enough. So look at the fields. What data is it showing you, right? Take it for face value, but also question it. Don't overcomplicate it though, right? When I say, what is the log source, right? Don't make up it's a backdoor and the Trojan and then the vulnerability was then, just tell me it's what it's saying, which is it's a pfSense firewall, because there's a lot of things that you will have to question, but the logs are what we have access to, right? That's what we have access to. So when you're working in a real environment, you have to be able to bank on the logs and the information you have access to, okay? So if you guys have questions, bring them. Bring the heat.
Is QRadar usually network devices? Like, it's a SIM. Well, I could look this up, but I'm just wondering. Like
No, you're right.
firewall servers, host, workstation.
Yeah. So any SIM, like John was saying earlier, is collecting, it's parsing, keywords here to really remember. It's parsing, ingesting, correlating. Okay. These are fancy words, important to understand. Parsing, which is like when your resume goes on a job board, it gets screened and parsed by an ATS, an application tracking system, right? It's looking for buzzwords, keywords, commonalities that fit to what parameters that are listed in the job description. So the SIM tool is parsing, correlating, making correlations between this types of traffic and these devices, and ingesting, meaning it's taking in data from these different endpoints. So it could be servers, it could be firewalls, it could be IDS, which is intrusion detection and prevention systems. It could be server logs, it could be Windows event logs, it could be firewall logs, it could be proxy logs, it can be malware logs, it could be email log. It's all different types of data. And the job of the SIM is to ingest all that, parse all that, and then spit it out in human readable raw logs like we were just looking at in the events, so that Renee and Dom and Justine, Sean, Bella, Manny, and Charisma can all read them. John, Justine's mouse is way too fast. She goes, and it goes like to
I'm
the bottom of the
intense. You
page.
have to
So
give me
adjust
clear
her mouse settings.
directions.
I'm just busting chops. So you guys
Can
got.
you guys hear me? I don't know
Yeah,
what
we can hear
happened.
you now.
My laptop
But
just
you wiped out.
crashed on me.
I suggest you go into the kitchen, Justine, and check that those pastelitos are still there, because he was gone for a minute. He was gone for a minute. All right. At the end of the day, you guys are doing great. Any outstanding questions? I really want you guys to, spend the rest of this time in the tools, because, I mean, you don't have to if you don't feel like it, but I think it's worth its weight in gold. So any other questions? You guys have a lot to do. Go back to the post. Make sure all those things are done. Please do not show up on Thursday without those things done. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time.
Are you gonna add the virtual sandbox set? Create the sandbox in there, you said?
I commented on it already. So I already
Okay.
commented and added the other additional item, which was to create an account virus total on abuse IP database and Joe Sandbox. Yep. Highly recommend it, because that's where you'll be able to actually go and detonate a malicious URL of a file and actually see what it does in a sandbox, which is what you'll be doing, like actually as an analyst. Like that's what we use all the time. I use Joe's, I use Recorded Future, we use Virus Total, we use CrowdStrike, different sandboxes. Some companies pay for sandboxes, like paid tools, which are all of the tools I just mentioned have paid services and features. But I use Joe's Sandbox as well. I use it all the time.
For Joe's Sandbox, when you sign up, it asks for like the company name.
Yeah, just put a company name. Don't put ours. Make one up. When you sign up on those profiles, you kind of want to be somewhat anonymous, right? So when you don't put up, Isabella Perez, I would put up like a username, big head, 1520 or something like that, right? Something that would necessarily associate you with that account. Although if you did put big head 1520, I would probably know that's you. Anyway, any other questions?
Is there, for your deposition, is there a template we could just reference?
I'm creating that
kind of-
tonight. So the disposition
Okay.
disposition template, I'm going to be getting you guys out that tonight, along with the other run books that I have 3 I've already created for you. So I'll be sharing those with you guys. But again, in the meantime, just kind of muscle through. If you guys want to spend the next 30 minutes hanging around, like just kind of go through what we just went through a little bit and kind of work on it, because it'll reinforce. The best way to remember things, guys, remember this. The best way to remember things is when you use something immediately or teach someone else. You retain 90% of what you learn that way. And it happens to me every time on the job. Like I said, I started at Microsoft a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going through shadowing. When I'm learning and shadowing other analysts, I have to then apply what I'm using. I take notes, okay? Like I take notes. I don't just say what I want you guys to do. I got a filter on right now, but I have an actual notepad, okay, that I take notes on. And then I go and I actually go and reinforce what I learned and actually go and do that, work an alert that I just reviewed, so that I can reinforce. So use it immediately and teach somebody else. Why do you guys think that I say, go make a video, go make a post? Go tell someone, go tell a friend, your friend's mother, your friend's cousin, dog's cousin, twice removed parrot. Go talk to the parrot in your uncle's house and tell him about QRadar, because that's how you're going to learn. So go make a post, engage, comment, and let's get it done. See you guys Thursday.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night.